Well, folks, I'm really glad that Matt Gaetz is not going to be our Attorney General. He was definitely a pretty disturbing pick. All of Trump's cabinet picks so far has been disturbing. I could make videos on all of them and point out just how unqualified and unhinged they are to even be considered for a department. But here we are. But there's still one that's in there that disturbs me the most, even more so, honestly, than Matt Gaetz, and that is RFK Jr. And the reason being is because this is going to be the guy in charge of health. He's going to be making decisions that's going to affect our health, and he is a conspiracy theorist, and he is batshit crazy. And I'm just going to say it right out loud. Anytime this guy gets called out on any of these things, he says that we're trying to be mean to him. We're making this stuff up. He'll say, I never said that. And then we'll roll the clip where he says it to his face. And then he'll say, we're taking it out of context. And then he'll cry that we're all trying to censor him and silence him. That's not what this video is about at all. This video is to hold him accountable and to raise awareness on what it is that he stands for. And when he cries that he's not a conspiracy theorist and he does not believe in conspiracy theories, you can show them this clip of him admitting that he helped to fund the conspiracy theory documentary Plandemic. Take a look.
We also have a film platform. We have a film division at Children's Health Defense. We produced 2 films. One of them is Vax 2, which was, a huge success. And then Plandemic, which we financed, which is now by some metrics, the most successful documentary in history. I think it's had 25 million views. Even though they threw us off all the social media, we were able to still get a lot of people to see that film.
Now, I know a whole lot of people who have quoted that documentary to me, and they believe it to be gospel. And the damage that it did and the seeds of distrust that it sowed in everything, the damage that it done is immeasurable. It truly is. All I know is that while people was quoting that documentary to me, I was burying 2 family members who believed in that type of thing. And that's why that this hits such a nerve with me, and that's why that RFK Jr. strikes such a nerve with me, and anyone who platforms these doctors who were barred and banned for spreading conspiracies. I got nothing for those people because I lived through it. I tried to talk to people, and I'm not a doctor. I'm not someone that anyone should take their medical advice from, but I did try to talk to 2 people that I love very much who was in very poor health and definitely needed to take care of themselves. I tried to talk to them about taking care of themselves, but they would quote that documentary, and they would quote people that believed in that documentary and people like RFK Jr. And so that's definitely a sore spot for me. And if you think that's bad, here the guy is claiming that CNN lies about flu deaths. Take a look.
So CNN just lies about that every year. And I don't think Sanjay Gupta and Anderson Cooper actually want to lie, but it's part of their gestalt. That they're supposed to push the flu vaccine. They're supposed to scare the hell out of everybody and make everybody think they're going to die if they don't get it. Well, they do that. And the fact is that the flu does not kill that many people in this country. It's not a dangerous disease, and the flu vaccine caused a lot more harm than the flu does.
Folks, before we keep rolling with this train wreck that is RFK Jr., I just want to thank everyone out there who's helped us cross over 400,000 subscribers. We're trying to get to 500,000 by January 20th, so if you haven't already, be sure and hit that subscribe button. I really hope we can get there. I know we can. If we get there if we move at the rate we're moving right now, we may actually hit it before New Year. So that would really be something if we did. Thank you guys so much for coming along on this bumpy ride as we talk about RFK Jr. and his wacky beliefs. Now, I will give him that the media blows things out of proportion a lot of times. I will give him that the media flat out lies. I will give him that there is fake news out there in this world. But do you know what that type of rhetoric that he's sitting there spewing does? It causes people who truly needs to go to the doctor to not have any trust in their doctor and take someone like his word for it. He's not a doctor. Who the hell is he? That's the whole point. There are so many people out there that will just hear something that the forklift driver at work said, and they will believe that over the doctor, and they believe those things because they put their faith in people like RFK Jr. And this last story I'm going to share with you guys, I'm not going to play any of the videos from this one for copyright purposes, but Take a look at this story here that's on MidasNews.com, and this was written by J.D. Wolf. On Russian TV, RFK Jr. claimed the swine flu and H1N1 were fabricated and never happened. So take a look at this one. During an undated appearance on Russian TV outlet RT, Trump's HHS nominee RFK Jr., known for his controversial stance on vaccines and public health, claimed that the swine flu and H1N1 were fabricated. Such remarks not only distort reality, but also undermine trust in global health institutions and the efforts to combat infectious disease. In the interview, RFK Jr. claimed that the World Health Organization is absolutely controlled from top to bottom by the pharmaceutical companies who used the World Health Organization to, fabricate pandemics like the swine flu, like the H1N1, and make billions of dollars on pandemics that never happened. This guy actually said this. The claim is patently false. According to the Mayo Clinic, the World Health Organization has reported approximately 284,400 deaths globally as a result of the swine flu pandemic in 2009 and 2010. This estimate reflects the severity of the outbreak, which impacted millions worldwide and required coordinated global response. Suggesting that the pandemic was fabricated dismisses the lived experiences of those affected and disregards the efforts of healthcare workers who battle the disease. I could not agree with that anymore. Kennedy's decision to air these basic assertions on RT, a platform often accused of spreading misinformation, is particularly, I can't say that word, I have a hard time with certain words, folks. It's troubling. And it is crucial for public figures to base their statements on evidence, especially when addressing topics as critical as global health. Trump's HHS nominee repeated peddling of here I go again, not being able to say words. He's been peddling claims not only damages his credibility, but also endangers public health by fostering unnecessary fear and skepticism. So to everyone out there who has asked me if I have a script, no is definitely your answer if you hear me attempt to read articles. If you hear me attempt to read articles, I get to words that I know and that I say all the time, but when I look at them on paper, I completely draw a blank. So to anyone out there who's ever wondered if I'm scripted, all you got to do is watch me read an article, and you will see real quickly that no, that guy could never have been scripted. But sadly, the difference between me and RFK Jr. is I'm out here trying to raise awareness on stuff like this, and he's going to be in charge of our health believing stuff like that. And again, it goes back to the distrust that he is sowing in our systems. That's what's the most disturbing to me. Is there fake news out there? Yes. Is there small kernels of truth to certain things that get said? Yes, there are. But when someone like RFK Jr. throws gasoline on those little tiny embers and flares them up and gets everyone believing it, they've got so much distrust sown in science and in medicine that people will take his word for it. And then they will just take some random person's word for it that passes along some documentary, and they will never ask the tough questions. And they will sit there needing help, and they won't get it. And that's what's so sad. And I want to make one thing perfectly clear. I'm not a doctor. No one should ever take their medical advice from me. And as a matter of fact, I would never give it to you. I would tell you to consult with a doctor. And if you came back and told me what your doctor said, and you told me you had reasons to believe that doctor was lying to you, then I would say to you, go get a second opinion. But I wouldn't say go listen to RFK Jr. I wouldn't say go watch this documentary. I wouldn't say go listen to this guy Joe Rogan interviewed. That's the last thing I would do. And this is the guy that Trump's put in charge. So while I'm glad that Matt Gaetz is gone, and I hope a lot of them don't make it. I hope a lot of them don't make it into the cabinet. I have no faith, though, that Donald Trump will pick anyone of actual substance who could do their job. I truly believe he's picking people to destroy these departments on purpose. But with RFK Jr., what makes him the most dangerous? What's going to happen if we were to get hit with another pandemic, and that's the guy in charge? What would happen then? How will we ever put this toothpaste back in the tube when you got people buying in to that type of dangerous rhetoric? That's the question I have. And I welcome any answer that you may have, because I'll be the first one to say, folks, after this election, I don't have the answers. I truly don't. I'm just trying to make sense of it. I'm just trying to think out loud and talk our way through this one. And so I appreciate the feedback I get from you guys. And sometimes when I ask the question, I'm asking you, the viewer, let me know. What do you think? I know for one thing for sure, none of us would ever take our medical advice from him. And the fact that he's sitting there so boldly making these claims with no evidence to back it up should terrify any reasonable person. And that's not me trying to be hyperbolic. It's just that this is a very serious situation we're headed into. And if we're headed into dark, uncertain times, yeah, all of the cabinet picks are disturbing. But this one is the one I worry the most about.